In this video, we're going to talk about the simple past tense. Fortunately, the simple past tense is pretty simple. For the simple past tense, we're going to use the helping verb did. And we're going to use it for all subjects. When we're not using a helping verb, our main verb is going to be the verb plus the ed form, or the second form of the verb, if it's an irregular verb. And you can find a list of irregular verbs on the internet. It's very easy to find. They have lots of them, very good lists. Just Google irregular English verbs and you should find a pretty good list among the top hits. Okay, so helping verb is did for all subjects. The main verb is ed for all subjects, or the second form if it's irregular verbs. And that's pretty cool because nothing really changes. The only verb that has two different forms in the past tense is the be verb. The be verb has was for I, he, she, and it, and it uses were for you, we, they, and then was for singular nouns and were for plural nouns as the subject. Okay. So here we go. Simple past is very similar to simple present, where we use the subject, the main verb, and the object. So no helping verb in the affirmative of simple past tense. So I might say something like I, and then taught. Taught is an irregular verb, so I use the irregular form. I taught English. Or I might say something like she. Then studied is a regular verb, so studied, I just add ed. She studied English. Okay. Do one more example. They, how about they play? Play is another regular verb. I just add ed, they played soccer. Okay. Subject, main verb, object, no helping verb, and the affirmative for simple past. In the negative, the formula is the same as it is for all the other verb tenses. So subject, and this time I do use a helping verb, not, then my main verb, and my object. Okay? So let's start with the subject, she, then the helping verb, and this is the really cool thing. No matter what the subject is, it's always did. She did not. And then just like when we use simple present tense, we use the simple form of the main verb. So I don't use the past tense form here. I just use the simple form. She did not study English. She did not study English. Okay? So I don't want to say she did not studied English. No, or she do not studied English, something like that. So the past tense form is here in the helping verb, no past tense in my main verb. Now let's take a look at a yes or no question. Again, here it's very easy. Follows the same pattern. Helping verb, subject, main verb, and then object for my yes or no question. So cool. My helping verb, no matter what, is did. Did she, and then my main verb is just the simple form when I use a helping verb. Did she study English? Okay. My answer is going to be either yes or no, and I'm going to use the short form to answer, so I might say yes, she. And here, remember, I used the helping verb, so yes, she did. Or I can use the contraction here. The contraction, you'll see, for is didn't. So, no, she didn't. Did not equals didn't. Okay. All right, and then for WH questions, again, we follow a similar pattern here. Subject, helping verb, subject, main verb, and then object. That question mark at the end. So you might say something like, why did she study English. Why did she study English? She studied English because she wanted to travel. Okay? So and WH questions are going to have answers that are information. The function of the past tense is pretty simple. So if I have a timeline here where I've got the past and now and the future, a simple past action is a completed action in the past. It's 100% in the past. And what's really important about past actions is that they are definite. In other words, we know the time when they happened. Okay? We know the time when these actions happened. And we use time words to express that. We use words like yesterday, last, plus a time, last year, last month, last Wednesday. I might use something like ago, 3 days ago, 4 weeks ago. I might say what year something happened. I use in 2014. Okay. In the past. Those are all good time phrases to use to show that an action is definite. It's a definite, complete action in the past. Now, one more thing to keep in mind with simple past is that a lot of times we use these special phrases, used to and would, to talk about actions that happened in the past but don't really happen anymore. Now, if I'm just simply talking about an action that happened in the past and I don't do it anymore, I can use both used to and would. So when I was a child, I used to, or I would, play with dolls. Now, what you're implying here, what you're telling the other person is that it doesn't really happen anymore. That's an action that happened in the past and it doesn't really happen anymore. It was a routine in the past and it doesn't happen now. Now, sometimes we want to make a really clear contrast. We want to make sure that it's clear that what is happening in the present is different than what happens in the past. In that case, I really only want to use used to. So I might say something like, I don't play guitar a lot these days, but I used to play every day. I don't want to use would here. I would not say I don't play guitar a lot these days, but I would play every day. No, that one doesn't work. That doesn't make sense. When I'm trying to show the difference, when I want to make it clear that there's a contrast between the present and the past, I use used to. Okay, that's it for simple past tense.